Hello and welcome back. My name is Tuxedo Ian, and we are getting back to our playthrough of Book of Hours. This will be part 32. We are progressing through winter. We've picked up a couple new books, and we are progressing into the Curcubit. So let's dive in and see what we can get done today. Alright, so we did manage to open up the Curcubit here, and we have 3 new books that we need to catalog. So let me put down these jars of ink and this rosehip jam, just for the moment. Come back here. Since we can now make Prohibit really easily, so we have a typewriter that we could use. In fact, what we'll do, we will bring the typewriter over here. That way we don't have to go all the way to the Curcubit to get it. And as we said before, the typewriter is a forge tool, plus it also is an inexhaustible supply of ink. So we can write all the annotations we want now, as long as we can make the proper aspect levels for them. So we'll grab our 3 books here. We don't have anything running at the moment, so we will go ahead and set these up to be cataloged. So we have a nocturnal book from around the turn of the century, and all 3 of these are nocturnal books. And then up here for our last one, and we'll see what those will give us. And let's take stock of what we do have, because we do have Snow Stories. We have these lessons for Disciplines of the Hammer. So we want to use those. We have a memory here, so that's going to be 1. The Disciplines of the Hammer needs another forge or edge memory. So what we can do, we can come over here, and we can grab, so forge or edge, we can grab Victory of Crowns, read that with a fet, and that will get us an edge memory that we can use to upgrade. And do we have anything that we want to do with this snow? The world is pale today. The white is west of the world, and winter does not wait forever, Solomon Husher once said. So we have 3 winter or 3 sky that we can use. We do have this 14 sky book. So as soon as we're done cataloging those books, we will see what we can do as far as this sky book. I think we might be able to get there with the snow. And up here, we can definitely listen to that one, because that's only 4 scale, and we can definitely get, and we have Deep Mandaic now, so that would give us Stone Stories. Okay, so there's our Memory Foresight that we can use. Okay, let's see what books we found. We found Lake Fucino recordings. Recordings of the folk dances of the Fucine Marshes. Okay, so this is another phonograph record, 12 Heart, and will teach us more about drums and dances, which is one we do not currently possess. So that will be good for that. We'll get started on that in just a moment. Our next one, we found An Exorcist's Field Manual. A practical guide to troublesome dead, grounded in theory but with a clear focus on their disposal, by the redoubtable Detective Ostiary Wheelock of the Suppression Bureau. 6 Moon, definitely something we can read, and it will teach us more about Edicts Martial, something we currently lack. And then the final one we found is Honey, a comprehensive guide. Harvey Haddington, pilot, polymath, confectioner, writes with great enthusiasms about the marvelous work of the bee. 6 Nectar, something we can definitely read, and it will teach us about insects and nectars. So let's go ahead and get those started while we can. So we have Nectar, and we'll use Spices and Savors for that, because that gives us 5 Nectar. We can use our Knife, which gets us to 7, and we just need a piece of Soul. We can throw a Whist in there, because we have plenty of Whist we can use. I can master this mystery. Enough nectar to match mystery nectar. And then we have a Moon book, which we can come down over here. And we can easily read a moon book, because we only need moon 6. So we can get that with Pearl and Tide by itself, and just apply one of our core. I can master this mystery. Then once we get that Curcubit prisoner records, we might be able to get that. That will also teach us about insects and nectars, but we'll try that in a little bit, because we need 12 nectar for that, so we need 5 more to find somewhere. Alright, so we have another 30 seconds here before we can get that lesson. So the snow we can use. Let's try. So we have this desk can take sky. So let's see. Can we get to 14? So that gives us 3. It's written in Deep Mendaic, so we need to apply that. And then for skill, we can add Orionoscopy, which gets us to 11. And then we need either ink or a tool. So Prohibit does not have sky. That would be Stargall, which we used our bottle that was up here of Stargall. Okay, so we're going to wait just a minute to do that because our other memory over here is almost done. Okay, there we go. So there's our Ascendant Harmony. And we will grab one of our Mazarine Fifes here. Don't need both of them. Alright, so we'll try, let's see here again. So we have Deep Mendaic. We add Orionoscopy, that gets us to 7. This takes us to 10. The snow puts us at 13, and Fost gets us to 14, and we have Sky Harmony. So this will teach us about glazery and lightsmithing. Each flame his fuel, a work by Omar the Blaze, an initiate or craftsman of the Labyrinth of Lions. And we don't have glazery and lightsmithing yet, so this will be a new skill for us, and then maybe some lessons we can apply to something else. We also have this Ashertine, which we can use for a lantern book, but we'll hold off on that. Sunset City and the End of Days, we could definitely read that, because if we can get to 14, we can definitely get to 10. Moth 12, Grail 16, Sky 16 is a little still beyond us. So, Edge 12 would teach us more about auroral contemplations and let us get another few levels of that. So that would be 5, 6, 7 with the knife. We'll worry about that in a little bit. So Ascendant Harmony is Sky and Lantern. Disciplines of the Hammer is Edge and Forge. So there is our second Edge memory we can use. So add Disciplines of the Hammer, a Metal, Foresight, Contradiction, and the Lesson. And improve that to level 3. So then we need 3 memories. So we can do Victory Crowns. Gets us 1. We can come over here with a Whist. And do... We need Forge or Edge. We can do Fear, which gets us Edge. And then over here, we can do this one again and get Foresight, which gives us Forge. That will allow us to get Disciplines of the Hammer to level 4. And let's see, we do have these other ones up here. Let's see if we can get Lake Fucino recordings. So we can get 2 heart from that. Then we need more heart, so that gets us 5 for 7. And we can put 2 memories in, so that would see 9, 11. So we'll need 2 memories for that. So we'll hold off on that for the moment. Alright, Disciplines of the Hammer is at level 3, so 4 Edge, 3 Forge. To purify and combine the selves and the essences, the hammer shapes and shatters doors within us and without. Okay, reading there proceeds apace. Just about done with our memory books here, so let's see what we... Alright. That's 1, that's 2, and that's 3. Yep. And then we grab... Disciplines, 1, 2, 3 memories, a lesson, and we'll use the metal. Another fruit plucked from knowledge's tree. Improve this skill to level 4. So let's see here. What do we want to look for tomorrow? So we can definitely use that Didymos to open this with Mr. Kill, because that will take him to 6, 7, 8, and the globe makes 9. Or we could use him to open up the Squawkful Logia over here. Okay, so we've finished reading An Exorcist Field Manual. Practical guide to troublesome dead, grounded in theory, but with a clear focus on their disposal by the redoubtable Detective Astieri Wheelock of the Suppression Bureau. The dead usually avoid light, as the most immediate manifestation of eternity, which has no place for death. However, those dead uplifted by gold, that is to say, touched by an actinic theoplasma, happily bought about in daylight, and are perhaps strongest at noon. If you are dead but uplifted by green, that's the ring-used blessing. The crowned growth offers a similar but nastier benefit. This is how burgeoning risen come about, but there are different degrees of sentience and freedom depending on which growths are involved. The consciousness of one uplifted by green is always greatly altered, though. They never really seem like the same person. They may have dregs of their original souls, but they are often replaced by something else. The upshot invariably is that they need to be set firmly on fire. And this has given us a lesson in Edicts Martial, so that is a brand new skill for us. And it must have given us a lesson, a memory that something else had completed, so it actually must have given us contradiction. So we can note that down. And we have finished reading Honey the Comprehensive Guide. Harvey Haddington, pilot, polymath, confectioner, writes with great enthusiasm about the marvelous work of the bee. Haddington insists that all the primary aspects, nectar, scale, heart, lantern, moth, grail, are possessed by bees and expressed in honey. Clearly, he points out, there are only 6 primary aspects, as a honeycomb has only 6 angles. Yugal ink is prepared with these techniques, but so is skin-shuck mead, and only skin-shuck requires honey. Just as any beverage or foodstuff can be improved with the additions of honey, so any garden is improved with the presence of bees. Even those bloody Blomberind. Okay, so we'll grab this off to the side. So it gave us memory contradiction, and both of them must have given us memory contradiction. We have a lesson in insects and nectars. And we'll collect our other stuff, so we'll note down... And we have Disciplines of the Hammer is now level 4. So we will note down that both of these gave us contradiction. And then we can add these to our red books shelf up here. And we will learn Edicts Martial, a new skill for us. And then we can learn Insects and Nectars, which will also be a new skill for us. And over here we finished reading Each Flame His Fuel. Omar describes his work in the construction of mirrors for the enclosure of a sacred flame, and his slow realization of a flaw in the glass. Omar explains how his lightsmithing techniques can be used in the presence of sufficient lantern to enrich xanthotic essence into the great ink of the first history, but he pleads caution in its use, lest the chandler be realized. So, sufficient lantern and xanthotic essence into a great ink. So that's telling us how to make one of the encostoms. So we know xanthotic essence and 15 lantern will get us an encostum now. And we've learned Memory Revelation and 2 Glazery and Lightsmithing. So we know Glazery and Lightsmithing can make the encostum that we need for the first history. So we will mark that with Revelation. And stock it on our pile up here, which continues to grow. We can put our fife back now. And let's see where that leaves us now. Well, we do have 2 pieces of the Geminiad red. We need 12 moth to read the last one. We need 14 grail for 26 enticements and 7 torments. 18 edge for that. 10 grail. We can definitely get to 10 grail, which would teach us orchards and narcotics. We can definitely get to 10 sky. But let's worry about getting all of our lessons learned before we do anything else. That way we don't lose anything if we get a sudden Numa at the end of the season. I don't think it will be coming around because it usually is supposed to come once every 9 seasons, but there's no real telling when it's due for the next time. Just have to watch and wait for it. Okay, so there's Edicts Martial, the precepts of struggle and the conflict with which drive the cosmic engine of change, sometimes called the co-rivality. Insects and Nectars. See anything else? So we can go ahead and actually we can start reading Sunset Celia, I think, here. So we have Auroral Contemplation 6 lantern. Is that our best lantern skill? Yes, it is. Oh, we don't need lantern, we need sky. So we need Oronoscopy, gets us 7, and the fife gets us 10. And we just add our shaft. And we have Harmony. And this will teach us more about Sacralime, which we already have. And it is Moth and Sky, so having some more Moth skill will probably come in handy, because this will give us 2 levels of that. And I bet with the Didymos, we probably could read this Book of the White Cat and get 3 more lessons in Watchman's Paradoxes. But for now, I think we've got enough lessons to go for. And we're getting close to the end of the season, so don't want to have too many at that point. Alright, so there is Insects and Nectars. The Hive, the Nest, and the Chrysalis are the 3 secret principalities of the lesser world. 2 of the 3 know of the temptations of sweetness. So this is Nectar and Moon, and it is also a chandlery, so we could make candles using that. I guess that makes sense if it's about insects. And we can assign it to Nyctodromy or Bosk. So we add Glazery and Lightsmithing. And for that one, we are going to need Lantern or Sky, so we can... Actually, we need to rest our Fost before we can level that up. But we can do that real quick, because we have plenty of time. We have a Thrippence. And see, what were we going to do with snow stories? We need either winter or moon. I think we were looking at... Yeah, we were looking at edicts inviolable to use for that one. We could also do quenchings and quellings. But I think edicts inviolable and getting that extra level of heart is probably going to be... Or actually... Yes, now that we have Edicts Martial, we will use it for Edicts Martial, because that is a more useful skill than Edicts Inviolable will be. And we have plenty of heart lessons that we'll be learning, so Edicts Martial will definitely can use that extra level. And we already have a Memory Contradiction, so that will get that right done. Just in time as the night bells toll. And tomorrow, I think we'll probably see if we can get this Rose-Haunted Hall opened up. Make Librarian Lightsmithing. Break a window. What have you made? A way, a new light, a weapon, Natalia Brullo. And if we remember, she was the one that was the duelist. So that kind of makes sense. So we'll do Edicts Martial, Memory Contradiction, and Snow Stories. And then we need either... So we'll do Tryst, because that's Moon, and improve this to level 2. And then once our Faust is ready, should be ready just as that finishes, and we'll be able to level Librarian Lightsmithing to level 2. Okay, just about done. One of these days I'd like to try a beef and potato pasty. Sounds like a tasty meal. Alright, so we grab Librarian Lightsmithing, a Memory Revelation, that, and our Faust. And this will be now level 2. And while we're on this topic, now that we have our Deep Mandaic is free, we can use Deep Mandaic with this. And listen to this recording. And we have 4 scale there, so that's more than enough. And we just have to add our core to get to scale unearthed. I can master this mystery. This will teach us some more. This will teach us about stone stories, which is one we do not have yet. And that will finish up tomorrow. Sunset Celia and the End of Days. An Obliviate adept identified only as the Emiliano rants desperately about the past Sunset Celia played in the Intercalate. About the part Sunset Celia played in the Intercalate as the proxy of the sun. Now she walks behind the watchman, but did she always? She has many of the characteristics of a maid in the mirror, after all. In older text, she has been called Celia the Elgabaline. Perhaps she was his daughter? Perhaps Triffin's sister? Perhaps, like the watchman himself, she is like a shadow cast by 2 candles. What must be revealed will be revealed. Our order's root is tainted, but its branches flourish beneath the shelter of the watchman's greater tree. I shall invoke its rights before the chancel, the cruciate, and the road. I shall write a final history, or another shall write it for me. Well now, that certainly sounds familiar. Its rights before the chancel, the cruciate, and the road. We've definitely heard those 3 applied somewhere, haven't we? So there's Sacra Lime, and it gave us a lesson in a Memory of Foresight. So we will go ahead and mark the book with that. But that definitely sounded familiar. Where have we seen those things put together before? If I remember correctly, it was the chancel. Yes. We do not name these hours, but we acknowledge that together they are the chancel, the cruciate, and the road. So, it's giving us a hint that if we use Sacra Lime here, we might find something. So let's try that. So we can apply Sacralime. And we'll apply Trist. And we found a treasure of the house. Make the necessary invocations to the three to reveal a treasure of the house. Well, let's find out what we've got. This will take us a minute to process, so that will take us into tomorrow, but that'll be something interesting to find out what that's going to give us. And then we have Sacralime lessons itself, so we would need Moth and Sky. And Sacralime is currently at level 2. So we can actually go ahead and give this a few more seconds here, and we can start reading. We can read Orchid Transfigurations, because Solace will give us 1 Sky. And we can come over here, and we can read Ambrosial, because it gives us Moth. And that will let us level that up. And our day is just about over. So let's see, is there anything else we can do for the day? We have our record that is playing. We have our books that are being read for tomorrow. So I think at this point we'll go ahead and call it a day. And we will pick up from this point tomorrow. Even though the day's not quite over yet, there's not really anything more we'll be able to do today because we're waiting on some timers to run out. So I will see you all tomorrow. Hope you've enjoyed watching this journey through Hush House. If you like what you've been watching, please leave a like or a comment down below. If you'd like to see more of these, subscribe. And I will catch you all tomorrow.